This is a developing international story that continues to draw global attention as claims circulate regarding Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro and strong remarks made by former United States President Donald Trump during live news coverage. According to statements discussed on air, Nicolás Maduro was described as being in custody, while Donald Trump suggested that the United States would take control of the country. These claims immediately triggered worldwide reactions, raising serious questions about their accuracy, intent, and potential consequences. At the time of reporting, no official confirmation has been released by Venezuelan authorities, and no independent international organization has verified that Maduro is in custody. This makes it essential to approach the situation with caution, context, and careful analysis rather than emotion or speculation. Venezuela has been facing one of the most severe political and economic crises in modern history. Once a country rich in oil wealth and economic promise, Venezuela's economy collapsed after years of mismanagement, corruption, falling oil prices, and international sanctions. Hyperinflation destroyed the value of the national currency, food and medicine became scarce, and millions of Venezuelans were forced to leave their homes in search of safety and opportunity. At the center of this crisis is Nicolás Maduro, who became president in 2013 following the death of Hugo Chávez. Since then, his leadership has been widely contested. Several elections were criticized by international observers, opposition leaders were arrested or exiled, and human rights organizations reported serious abuses. Despite this pressure, Maduro remained in power with the support of key institutions inside Venezuela and alliances with countries such as Russia, China, and Iran. The claim that Maduro is in custody, therefore, carries enormous political weight. However, in the modern media environment, especially during live broadcasts, information often moves faster than verification. Analysts warn that such claims may reflect political messaging, intelligent speculation, or rhetorical pressure rather than confirmed reality. This is why it is important to separate what has been officially confirmed from what has been discussed or suggested during live coverage. As of now, verified evidence supporting the custody claim remains limited. Donald Trump's statement that the United States would run the country also demands careful interpretation. Throughout his political career, Trump has used strong and provocative language, particularly when discussing foreign policy. During his presidency, the United States imposed heavy sanctions on Venezuela's oil industry, openly challenged Maduro's legitimacy, and supported opposition movements. Trump frequently used Venezuela as an example in his criticism of socialism, both in international forums and domestic political speeches. His recent remarks appear consistent with this long-standing narrative. However, experts emphasize that such statements do not automatically translate into policy or action. Any attempt by the United States to directly control another sovereign nation would violate international law, require congressional approval, and trigger massive diplomatic consequences. For this reason, many analysts view the statement as political rhetoric rather than an operational plan. Under international law, sovereignty is a fundamental principle. No country can legally govern another without international authorization, consent from the legitimate government, or a multinational mandate. Any unilateral move would likely provoke condemnation from the United Nations, resistance from regional governments, and strong opposition from global powers with interests in Venezuela. Russia and China, in particular, have invested heavily in Venezuela and would strongly resist any attempt at foreign control. History has shown that external intervention in Latin America often results in long-term instability rather than lasting solutions. Global reactions to the broadcast were swift. Supporters of the Venezuelan government dismissed the claims as propaganda, while opposition groups expressed cautious hope but urged people to wait for confirmation. International media outlets stressed the lack of verified information and warned audiences against drawing premature conclusions. Financial markets also reacted nervously, as instability in Venezuela has direct implications for global oil supply and regional economic stability. Neighboring countries are closely monitoring the situation due to concerns about migration and security. For ordinary Venezuelans, dramatic political announcements often bring uncertainty rather than relief. After years of crisis, most citizens are focused on survival, securing food, medicine, electricity, fuel, and personal safety. Any escalation in international pressure risks worsening humanitarian conditions. Experts widely agree that lasting improvement in Venezuela can only come through negotiated political solutions, economic reform, and international cooperation, not sudden power shifts imposed from outside. Several realistic scenarios may follow these developments. The situation may remain unchanged, with rhetoric fading as attention shifts elsewhere. Diplomatic pressure and negotiations could increase, leading to limited reforms or compromises. Internal political changes could occur over time, driven by Venezuelan institutions themselves. What remains least likely, according to most analysts, is direct foreign control of the country. History, law, and geopolitics all suggest that such an outcome would be extremely difficult and highly destabilizing. As this story continues to unfold, one fact remains clear: words spoken during live broadcasts can influence global perception within minutes, even before facts are confirmed. Claims regarding Nicolás Maduro and statements about U.S. control of Venezuela should be evaluated carefully, with attention to verified sources and historical context. The future of Venezuela will not be decided by headlines alone, but by complex political processes, diplomacy, and the will of its people. This situation remains fluid, and further updates will depend on confirmed information as it becomes available. Until then, viewers are encouraged to stay informed, remain critical, and rely on verified reporting rather than speculation.